Okay, back to our personalizing data. The next thing we can look at is drill down views. And one of the big things within any system is you want to have the ability that when you're looking at a piece of data, how do I get to the underlying records that created that data? And what we're looking at here is an example of what we call a functional area home page. So in this example, we're looking at inventory control, but we also have functional areas for most of the main functions within a company. So we're looking at quick links to the things I use most and a few quick indicators and charts of data that are important to me. But really what I'm looking at here is the ability to drill into data. And I'm going to go to my Navigator. The Navigator is great because here's where it starts providing you with all of the data that is being collected throughout the system. And in this case, of course, it's related to inventory control. Depending on which form you're in, you would have data related to that. But as an example here, let's look at transactions. And I'm in a multi-site database, so I can choose transactions by site, or I can create groups of sites, which is what I created here. So I'm really looking at, in this group, I'm looking at LA, London, and my Dallas site. But the system is keeping track of every transaction that happens within the system, and I could see all of that here. The beauty of it is I can filter through this. So let's say I'm looking for a specific item. I can filter on that item ID. Let's say I know it starts with FA. So I can put a star or an asterisk as my filter, and I can just hit my filter on that button. So now it's pulling back only the data related to that. And if I wanted to add another piece of information, let's say I didn't want to see all of the different types of transactions. I only want to see, maybe miscellaneous receipts. So I can come in here and then choose to see just miscellaneous receipts and parts that start with FA, and then filter by that. So it's a great way to drill into the data that you're looking for and need right away. Especially when you come into things like expiring lots, it's a great way to see, if you're using lot and serial trace and you have expiration dates on them, I can go to details by right-clicking on any of my records that have detail behind it, and it will take me to the source record for that information. Another thing we have that we can use as drill down information would be critical numbers. Now, critical numbers think of as KPIs, or key performance indicators. And we have over 70 of these available. You can pick and choose which ones you want to see on your screen. It just adds the ones that are most popular for the current function you're looking at. An example of this would be something like inventory value. So if I was to just click on that indicator, and I could see that, looking at it, I'm, somewhere between probably around $6,200, which is, $6.2 million worth of inventory, which I can see what that is there. It's in the red zone because I can set the values of where I want it to be alerting me and showing up red when it's higher than the value I want to keep in inventory. If I want to drill into that and see what's making that up, I just click on that critical number, and it shows me all of my warehouses and the value in each one of those warehouses. So I can do a couple of things to drill in. I can say, well, my main warehouse has the most inventory, it's over $6 million. I can hit detail and go and look at the information about that main warehouse, or I have these sub drill downs which are related to the critical number. And this one only has one, but you could get, multiple sub drill downs depending on what data you want to get to related to the main or the first drill down. But here, if I wanted to see the detail, I can hit that sub drill down button, and that will show me all of the items in the main warehouse and their value that are making up that $6 million. And here you can see it. And once I'm in here, I can do things just the same from a filter perspective. I can come in and say, hey, I want to, I want to see where the value is greater than 0. I don't need to see my 0 values. So now I'm only seeing values 0. I could go in and look for negative inventory, value less than 0. So that's just a great way to drill down right from that critical number. Another thing that's nice about these critical numbers is if I right click, I can do something called snapshots. And I have mine set to take snapshots on it was a daily, and then I change it to a weekly basis just to get some information in here. But I can see over time, going from today backwards, depending on the time period you want, whether it's weekly, monthly, daily. You'd probably do this maybe weekly or monthly at the most. But you can see over time what that trend is looking like. And of course, this is a demo database, so a lot of it's flat. But in a normal database, you will see these going up and down, and it gives you good visibility into what that trend for that particular analytic looks like over time. And then we also have data views. Data views are great because it gives you a chance to not only create your own reports from the data that's being given. In this case, I'm looking at an inventory data view, but I can do things like modify this how I want. Here's my part description here, and I probably want to move that over next to my part ID or my item ID. I want to group this by warehouse, so now I have a grouping by warehouse, and then I can just simply save that to give it my own report name, and it'll keep it in the file. So as I modify these and change them to my liking, I'll have a group of reports that I created simply from moving things around, filtering. I can create sum totals in numerical fields and so on. So from a user standpoint, having the ability to manage their own data and create their own reports from these data views is very powerful. I also have the ability here to drill down, so it's not just a report, it's a living report. So I can right click and do the same thing and go to details to go to the detail record for that particular item, or drill into any of the other information related to that piece of data that I right clicked on.